This is Laura Summer, the original Janine Melnitz on The Real Ghostbusters, and you're listening to the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Welcome back to Haunted by Tapes with the Frog Brothers Podcast.
Hello, and welcome to another edition.
The camera is framed all wrong, but keep talking. Go ahead.
Well, what segment is this?
Why, you're not in the picture.
This is still Haunted by Tapes.
Who bumped it?
This is Haunted by Tapes. Tonight's feature
It's technically a horror film. Look at all the gore in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, it does have that warning at the beginning. We're talking about the 1984 fucking psychological masterpiece, The Toxic Avenger. This is a trauma flick. If you're not familiar with trauma, they're very much the B genre crazy movies. They're all way over the top. Keep
You're
going,
almost
Edward.
there.
The names lined up.
Yeah.
Yeah, the names are good.
Okay, yeah.
That's how.
Yeah.
That'll be okay.
This movie takes place in Traumaville.
Traumaville,
And it's a trauma
USA.
film.
Lots of trauma films do, obviously.
Which, even though there's clearly some scenes that show the Twin Towers in there, so use that for your
Oh,
imagination.
yeah, the very first shot, I
This
think.
film's from 1984. Well, Tromaville is a fictional town in New Jersey, so.
That makes sense.
Oh, we can see it across the bay.
Trauma Entertainment. Lloyd Kaufman, man. Lloyd Kaufman was the best part of that shitty Last Blockbuster documentary. Did you ever see that?
Yeah.
It was a really bad documentary. It was kind of like the Ghostbusters documentary where you like wanted to like it, and you were like, ooh.
Oh, is there some meth head crying through the whole thing? Allegedly. Allegedly.
It took me a minute to realize what you meant, and then, yeah, immediately.
I forgot we were on camera.
Like, I forgot we were rolling.
Allegedly.
Same method.
no,
allegedly
but it's
got
like-
stabbed.
A lady, just like some old lady who's like, I run the Blockbuster now.
Oh, that dog. Oh.
But Lloyd Kaufman's in it, and later he's like, fuck Blockbuster. They wouldn't carry our movies, so fuck Blockbuster. Mom and pop shops is where it was
Well,
at.
they only got so
which,
much space.
to be honest, is true.
Mom and pop shops had the porno section, too. Most of those big chain stores
Titties and
did.
gore, man. You can't get that shit at Blockbuster. You can
Yeah.
get a couple titties, like titty shots, but you can't get... You're not getting penetration at Blockbuster.
Unless you work there and we're doing shit behind the scenes.
And now they're out of business.
Yeah. That's what you get. Should have
basically.
showed full penetration.
Netflix wasn't doing porno. You could have survived.
Shit, even HBO got out of the porno game.
Well, now it's Game of Thrones had all the titties.
Yeah.
Traumaville Health Club, right?
Yep. This whole movie takes place at the Traumaville Health Club.
Melvin. And then there's some old dudes in thongs.
Yeah,
Like,
this-
there's lots of weird, hilarious, just shit that's fuckery in this movie. It's amazing. The sound is shit. That was my first note after that. Sound is shit, LOL, because they're, like, at the pool, and it's just, like, isolated studio audio of them talking. And it sounds like complete garbage.
A lot of it's overdubbed. The only thing sound-wise in this movie that didn't piss me off was some of the music actually fucking ripped and like felt like
Well, the
super
music
in place.
reminded me of Real Ghostbusters, first of all.
Exactly. No, maybe
But
that's why I thought
also-
it ripped.
They didn't know what mood they were going for.
No,
ever.
no.
When they were running over children with bikes, it was like
They still moving.
shredding guitars and shit, happy, good, badass times. And then, like, later on, eventually they do use sad music for Toxic Avenger. But I'm like, you should have been using weird, fucked up, suspenseful music earlier, not like party time music while you're slaughtering children. But I don't know, maybe that's the vibe on purpose, so it works.
It's
You know, it's weird.
yeah, it's fucking strange, but it's entertaining for sure.
Yeah, the music, though, I was literally thinking of Real Ghostbusters the whole time, because it's almost constantly going.
The music
Like-
I got a kick out of. I was like, man, the music is the best part of this movie right now.
Exactly.
The sound was fucking terrible, especially the Toxic Avenger when he talks, because like for a while they have him just sound derpy the whole time.
No, I love that.
And then he like talks with a normal
Then he's
accent.
got
His voice being that way is
Then
so
he's got a
hilarious.
sexy man voice.
Very
Yeah, he's like
fucking
growling
intelligent.
while he kills people.
Yeah, they went over the top with that, but I felt like this movie almost felt like parody of the Incredible Hulk.
Yeah.
As the Hulk TV show with Lou Ferrigno. That's like basically where I felt this whole movie was a parody of that.
Yeah.
The gym rats in there, and we find out they're the hit and run killers. Slug has run people over. We find out, and like there's all the photos of all them fucking killing people, and they're getting off to it and shit.
Yeah.
Well, they got a points list for.
Yeah, and they go over that, and like you realize like this movie's from 1984 when they're like dropping all the derogatory terms they just fucking freely spit out everywhere in this movie. You're like, good God.
Well, and they said like that string of racist terms.
Yeah, they
Hey,
just
the
like
Toxic
speed them all out
Avengers
for
racist
points.
at the end there, if you remember.
Yeah, nobody said he was perfect.
Yeah.
Um,
And then you see him getting bullied around the fucking pool.
and he finds them fucking too,
Yeah, he does.
and he's just like, "Whoa, like totally raw, dude. They're fucking basically."
Yeah, and it just kind of Creepster watches him. But here's the thing, though. Like, this main character, he comes across as Melvin. Just comes across as, like, mentally disabled. And you're like, wait a second. Like,
Yeah.
are we supposed to be offended by what they're doing to him? Like, I don't even know. Like, everyone is so over the top.
I am very offended by how they're treating him.
Well, I think he's.
I'm offended by the way he was.
I just thought he was a super nerd, not necessarily.
Why don't you explain to Toxic Avenger? Well, I guess
Why you are the way you are.
Yeah. But holy shit. Yeah, he finds him fucking and shit, and eventually it shows them driving around, and they're talking about this point system about
Yeah, it's Julie, Bozo, and Slug.
how
and-
much each race is worth if you kill it.
Yeah, 25 points
Well,
for
kids
that.
are
and-
double points.
Yeah.
And then they say if you're from Puerto Rico that you are worth an additional 5 points. And you're like, holy shit. And they didn't say
Jesus.
that. I said that the correct way.
You find this uncomfortably funny, Nick.
Nick does have damage to the hood of his car.
He heard the word Puerto Rican and just died.
No, I find racism, like people that are racist, funny. Like they're just so stupid that they're like this.
Nice recovery, Nick.
Racism's not funny, but people that are racist are funny because they're so stupid.
Okay.
Their stupidity is funny.
Okay.
I get
We
it.
can't defend you. We think we know
Then
what
they
you
hit the
mean.
kid. And
Oh, no, I love the scene where it's like Total Ecto 1 where they sped up the camera shot like to flip the car around because clearly that car wasn't moving that
Yeah.
fast.
then they back over the kid, GTA style, and they used a melon with had put red corn syrup in,
Okay, that's what was popped when they did that. 'cause
and
that
then a
actually-
wig.
That looked like a good fucking death scene there.
It's
when you
fucked
see it,
up.
It's super gory, and you're like, whoa.
Well, what the fuck? Was it his sister that sent that kid out? Like,
No, here's
it's like
the
nighttime.
kicker.
She sent him out with the helmet on. She's like, make sure you wear
Well,
a
it's
helmet.
nighttime. Who
The
sends a kid
kicker
out
is
for
the shit like this in this movie that does it for me, right? So they just killed him or whatever, and he's like, I want to do it again. I want to do it again.
Well, let's
And the
not
other guy's like, wait a minute, I got to.
I gotta get up for work in the morning.
No.
I gotta go to church.
Yeah, he says I got to go to church, and they're like, oh yeah. It wasn't a joke.
Yeah, they're all
That's
dead
why it's
serious
funny.
about it. Then the other bit of that is when they get out and they take all the Polaroids of the dead body because later on you see that chick flicking her bean to the photos in the fucking sauna at the gym. She's like literally
Yeah.
full on beating off to it.
Well, wouldn't you? That melon is kind of hot. They got to inject that fluid somehow, right?
If you say
Man,
so.
they're into that, yeah.
So he puts a snake on the guy who's somehow doesn't notice.
Yeah, like
That
pulling
part
the
was
shirt
dumb. The music again is hilarious. Oh, and then it kind of hell breaks loose in the gym there for a minute. They dump Melvin in the waste, basically, or whatever.
Well, that whole thing where they get that chick like
Oh, he jumps
tells
out the
Melvin
window.
she's gonna fuck
Yeah.
him, so she gets him to dress up in the tutu, which is the Toxic Avenger's costume later on, minus the shirt, basically. And then they see him kissing the sheep, and he's so embarrassed that he goes to commit suicide by jumping out the window and lands right in the barrel from the guys that were doing all the cocaine in the fucking car.
Yeah.
Like that's I was like gonna put a note on that. I'm like, you can't forget the guys that are just fucking parking the toxic chemicals outside with no lids on the barrels, like just fucking doing drugs in the trunk. You're like, what?
Yeah.
This shit's crazy.
Melvin catches fire, and then there's a crowd that forms, and he just like runs off, basically.
And the cop tries to help him, and then he catches him on fire.
Yeah.
Next-
Oh, this is where I wrote the first time the music actually matches the mood.
Oh, yeah.
And he gets in the bath, and all that like bubbling and churning, and the hair coming out.
Mm-hmm.
His mom asking him if he's going through puberty.
Yeah.
Finally hit puberty.
Okay, there's a quote in here that I can't tell if it's what I think it is or not. But if it is, I have to get it for the soundboard because it's perhaps my favorite quote in the movie. The cop walks up to those
Oh,
the guys in the
cigar
dress
face
and
in
shit.
The gang.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
and says, "What are you and your bi friends up to?" I just lost my shit. I love that. That's fucking hilarious. I want that as a sound clip so bad. What are you and your bi friends up to? And then they fuck him up. And they're about to kill his ass, basically. And
Shoot
the
his dick off.
Toxic Avenger steps in and scalps two of them.
Yeah, my favorite kill scene there is, though, the fucking eye gouging.
Dude, I love it. The boing, and then pulls him out on his fucking fingers, basically. Which, again, I don't know how I feel about this portrayal of this character, who's, I guess,
the
a
guy with the
bearded
beard?
black gay man in a dress.
Yeah, some of the
weird.
characters are so over the top, and then there's also the fucking Nazi cop that literally speaks with the German accent and does the hail sign.
What the fuck was the deal?
What about the guy that sounds like Joe Pesci with the world's worst comb over?
I mean, that's fine.
Remember that guy?
Yeah. No, at this point in time, right when the music was hitting after the eye gouging, I said the sound design is utter garbage.
Yeah.
Because I was just like so fucking distraught by it
Or
at that
is
point.
It's a sign of the budget, I guess.
Yes.
The special effects are decent though.
Well, yeah, like
That's
they're
where they put their money, maybe.
gooey and shit, and they look low
Like his
budget too.
transformation, I thought it was pretty.
Well,
good.
they remind me of like Evil Dead, where it's like you can clearly tell this is low budget, and it's just like handmade fucking this is handmade quality shit. But yeah, definitely still really low budget. You can tell later there's like a shot where it just at the very end of the movie where like the lighting is just so fucking different from each shot to shot. It's like what the fuck? It's like really dark and then light.
Well, we get to the point where we start realizing all these bad politicians are around there and they want to take all this toxic land and redevelop it. Even though, like, it's already a toxic area, so kind of figure that out. Then we get to that Taco Bell scene. And, it looks like the inside of an old Taco Bell.
Yeah,
That's
I was
the only
thinking
reason
this
I
the
said
whole
it.
time. I almost wrote that down too.
Yeah, no, I wrote that down because I'm looking around there.
But the
I'm like,
plates and the
window
food
arch?
look like Taco Villa.
Yes, I know, it was confusing. But the
definitely
inside arches of the window look like an old
And
school
and
Taco
now I
Bell.
really want Taco Villa. Is there one of those around still at
There's
all?
one in
Is it still in
There's
Olathe?
one in Lee Summit.
There's one in Lee Summit really
And
close.
there's one in Overland Park. Lenexa
Yeah,
Road.
there's still one over there too. Yeah.
Oh shit!
I ate there once on a date, and I didn't think it was very good.
I love that.
Well, it's
whole-
weird. It's certainly a weird thing. Like for me, it's nostalgia. Like that's the only reason I would go to enjoy it because I ate it as a kid.
Yeah, it was
sometimes.
only like a year. And
The crazy thing is, so these assholes are terrorizing the Taco Bell, and it's like 2 bad guys or 3 bad guys, and
One of these guys, the guy with the makeup on his face, he like fucking quit after he had to point the gun at the fucking people.
oh, he didn't like doing that.
Yeah, he was like, "Fuck this is fucked up." Like at the
Oh,
child.
with the he had the,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the black makeup all over half
Yeah.
his face. Yeah.
Well, because this movie's so fucked up in the fact that they're about to rape the blind girl before the fucking Toxic Avenger
after
steps
they
in, and you're
shot
like,
their
holy
dog.
shit!
Yeah, after they shot her fucking dog,
Yeah, no,
Graphically, and then they show it later on with his guts everywhere.
and that guy who gets his arm ripped off actually is an amputee who did not have an arm there.
I was wondering how they did that effect.
well, I was gonna say it looks so good, and I was like, I don't see an arm under that shirt.
Well,
but,
if you
like,
watch, I actually read that fact beforehand, and if you watch, you can tell that his arm's just like not doing anything.
oh,
I didn't
that
pay
makes
attention
sense.
before that.
They did a good job then.
Yeah, that was great.
But then I said he Sundays the guy in the kitchen, which you're like, okay, because he's.
Oh, fucking A, I love that, where he puts the milkshake spinner in his mouth.
So I worked at a Dairy Queen in high school.
Ew, you didn't put it in your mouth, did you?
No, but there's a girl I worked with that like one time went through
Oh.
the cup, the paper cup, into the blade of that thing.
One
and
time at
fucked
Dairy
her hand
Queen?
up. Yeah, she fucked her hand up. So like that would fucking murder your fucking face off.
Oh, yeah.
It was intense, and I saw that, and I just reminded that girl getting her hand fucked up. I
Then
was
he
like,
puts the other guy's hands in the deep fryer and shit.
yeah.
And then, it's all right. I'm not going to hurt you. Let's go out the back way.
His manly voice.
I love it when the cops show up to the murder scene here, or the crime scene, wherever you want to call it, and they're all cracking jokes about him. Like, they're making
got a
jokes about
Supreme
all
pizza.
the dead people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking glorious.
Oh, and then you
Whoa.
have the inspiring love music of the two of them and the Twin Towers in the background. When they're at like a park. I love this. They're back at her place, and
They fuck one out, man.
yeah, they do. He fucks the shit out of her. It's hilarious.
Yeah. Like, he's gone from never getting asked to having a blind chick all over him, so.
And then the chick in the sauna, like you said, goes to rub one out to the fucking murder photos of the children.
Which is a callback to the same.
Jesus Christ.
Well, it's a callback to this.
That's a movie we're reviewing right now.
That's a callback to the scene, though, when Slug goes in there with the
She's got really great tits.
bag over his head doing the same thing to her, only they bang in the sauna the first time they're in there.
Yeah.
So.
And he sits her on the rocks.
Burns her ass and pussy.
Fried pussycat.
Like a golden eye.
Yes.
And then he pisses a bunch of green sludge in the alley.
Yeah, that's so random. It's like just.
It just cuts to that real quick after he's done killing her, I guess.
So what did he come when he fucked that girl?
I don't know.
Was
We
it
didn't
green
see that.
sludge?
Scene. The car crash scene fucking ensues where they're just going around destroying shit.
Oh, that's where he kills the child pimp, though, first.
Oh yeah.
The pimp gets out of the car with a fucking
She's 12 years
12-year-old.
old and only $12.
Exactly. And then Toxic Avenger kills the shit out of him. Mm-hmm. And then you just have he kills just a lot of random people. It almost just goes on
Well, they
without
all
plot
hap-
for a while
they
like
all
this.
happen to be bad though.
Yeah,
they've all
of
done
course.
bad shit. Like, so when you finally see that little lady in the dry cleaning place and
Did
she gets fucking murdered
Did
by
she do something bad or I miss it?
Yeah, the cops later basically say that,
another pretty face. Sorry.
No, the cops explained that she was like running a human trafficking ring.
Did they show that before the cops explain it?
Yeah, the
Well,
cops explain it after they're talking about how they're going
Oh,
to try to get the
Do you
Avenger.
know that before the cops explain it?
No, you don't know that. So you just
Okay,
think he's killing a
okay,
random
yeah,
lady.
exactly.
Before this, he helps an old, during a montage, though, he's killing all these people and doing this badass shit. And then he helps an old lady cross the street, and then he opens a lady's jar. He shows up at her window and just reaches in and steals, her jar that she's trying to open,
Yeah,
and
he's
opens
drawn to it. He doesn't know why he's doing it, I think.
I want to get one of these shirts. I Heart the Monster Hero. I want one of these shirts.
Yeah.
Fucking dope. And then this is also relevant as fuck because we like to talk monster genitalia. There's some people, a group of gay guys, presumably because they are very stereotypical, and they're saying, "I wonder how big it is," and they're just talking about how Toxic Avenger's dick might be and how they want to fuck him, basically.
It's massive. It's got
Probably
bumpy tumors all over it.
ribbed for your butt's pleasure,
Exactly.
natural.
You
Well,
don't
the
want-
mayor
you
gets
don't
the
want that jizz
National
on you.
Guard called in after he kills the innocent woman who, is the trafficker,
Woman.
which is basically how they justify that. But then the mayor goes to shoot down fucking Toxic Avenger, which is amazing because he somehow survives the bullets. He's bulletproof. But I love how he goes and rips his guts out and turns it over to the cop. It's like, I just need to see if you have any guts. And as he's ripping them out and spilling them everywhere. And then he turns it over to the cop, and then...
What about when they beat that old lady and steal her car? That was funny.
Yeah.
Japanese import.
Beat the shit out of her.
This movie's just fucking...
Oh, no, I love it when he takes the guy in the car and he's just laughing as they're going on that car chase, basically. And he just laughs his ass off when they crash the car and explodes. Eventually, he climbs out of the car, obviously. That shit's good. But I do love it. He shoves that woman in the washer earlier. We forgot to mention that, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
and
kills her in
dry
the
cleaner,
washing
yeah.
machine, which is crazy.
What does he say, right?
And then they find her on the ironing table later when the mayor comes through with his
Yeah.
goons. So...
Yeah, the gut rip is classic. I like the guy trying to stuff his own guts back in.
Mm-hmm.
The crowd cheers, the hugs, the pop music.
Yeah.
Fucking good time, if you ask me. Obviously,
There's
low
nothing.
budget.
There's nothing about this movie that's not fucking over the top and absurd, but that's what makes this movie
it's
work.
splatter parody horror.
And that's why
in
this whole
simplest terms.
trauma genre exists, is because
Yeah.
you're like, what the fuck is this? Like, this is just people going fucking wild and having fun.
Oh, you want a fucking crazy movie? I'll show you a fucking weird ass
Yeah.
crazy movie.
I love how they got the gore warning at the beginning, like this movie's insanely violent, and then they've got the little voiceover at the beginning and the voiceover at the end, kind of to close it out. If you haven't seen this movie, highly recommend it.
It's free on Tubi.
It's fucked up, it's disturbing, but it's amazing in its own way. If you're like, if you love B movies, you love.
They're
horror
also
movies.
remaking this movie with Peter Dinklage playing the Toxic Avenger.
And that's supposed to be out this year.
Before he transforms, I assume.
He might be playing the
They
character
could
in
just
costume
CGI
too.
it Yeah, they could just
Peter
CGI
Dinklage is
it.
doing this.
Elijah Wood is in it too.
Wow. Must be fans.
I mean,
Maybe.
who doesn't like this kind of trash?
I love it. Anyway, that was the Toxic Avenger from Trump Entertainment.
Not to be confused with the Toxic Crusader cartoon series.
Good night.